Hi all, welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to talk about a really powerful feature in PSADT that allows end users to defer the installation. So an example of that be where we're pushing out application updates, things like that, but the users, with inside the app and they're working away and it's a bit inconvenient for the app to be updated at that particular time. So what we can do is we can actually give a prompt to the end user where they can defer that installation and defer it for another time, do it later. That's a really good feature of PSADT, and what makes it even easier is we're going to do that in Robopack because that does all the hard work, the heavy lifting for us. And yeah, I'll show you that now. So we're going to head over to my test virtual machine. Let's have a look at that. Now I've actually got Notepad++ already installed in this virtual machine. I actually installed it manually, and a slightly older version I deliberately installed as well. So you can see in a minute within Robopack Radar, obviously it's picked this up. So let's open up Notepad. Let's just we're working away in Notepad++. We're running version 8.9.1. So let's head over to Robopack, into Radar, and there it is there. That's it there. 8.9.1 is the version I'm running, and Robopack is telling me 8.9.7 is the latest. I've actually already got patch group. I'm going to put it inside this patch group because I've got this patch group here that I created. So I'll quickly show you this. I've just got one here that's for standard apps, all devices required and all users. So basically anything that goes into this standard apps patch group will get deployed to all devices and all users for the company portal. So yeah, let's add, what we'll do is we'll add Notepad++. Actually, we'll do it from Radar. Let's do that. There it is there. So we're going to add that. We're going to put it in my patch group. I've got all the settings already done. That's why patch groups are really useful, because you can pre-order all your settings for you, so don't have to keep doing it every time. We'll create that flow. Okay, that. And there we go. I'm going to save I'm not going to start deployment. I'm going to save the deployment first, because there's something else I need to show you. Okay, that's been saved. What we now have to do is we now have to just customize the app slightly, because what we need to tell Robopack, or essentially PSADT, is that if it detects Notepad++ already open, then that's when we give the user the prompt. So let me just show you where that is. It's under settings, and if you go to script templates, you can customize obviously your default. Well, I've got my default PSADT version 4.1.8. 4.2 is in RC. I think that's coming out very soon. But for now, we're using 4.1.8. If I edit that a minute, okay, so you'll see this is based on my custom settings for my test tenant. But you'll see here that we're allowing deferral times of 3. Now, this will only, as we tick this box here, only show if there are apps to close. So basically what they're saying is that if the app is open, obviously then we're going to get the deferral message, or the end user will get the deferral message. If the app's not open, then we assume they're not in it, and of course installation or upgrade can continue. That's basically the premise here. So how do we tell Robopack stroke PSADT we want to close Notepad++? It's fairly simple. So what we do is if we go to recent packages, you'll see Notepad++ here. There's a few ways to get to this, but I'm using this way. What we're going to do here is we're going to add a custom setting. And the bit we're looking for is this one here, apps to close. So this is where you need to understand what process or what application needs to be closed. We're not looking for the exe, essentially. We're just doing Notepad++. I already know what it is. But you can get that by simply launching the app and just looking in Task Manager, and that will tell you basically the processes that what you need to close here for the app. It's fairly straightforward. So in this instance, it's Notepad++. That's what we're looking for. So again, nothing else I need to do here. I can just save that now. Okay, and that will apply these apps to close for all versions of this Notepad++. I've told it to do all versions. You can target specific versions, but there's no point in this particular demo. I'm going to target all versions, so no matter what version. And the beauty of this in Robopack is that all future upgrades of this app, or all future versions of this app, will have this. Any settings you put here basically will be kept. It's a great little feature. So, okay, that's that done. So we have a patch group. We've done the app settings. So now we're going to start deployment. And then we'll switch over to the VM. And let's see what happens on the VM. Let's do a couple of syncs in the company portal, speed this up, hopefully. Okay. Let's give us a message down here, so that's fine. That's going to start the installation now. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, so as you can see now, it's PSADT has got the option now, deferral. So we've got to defer up to 3 times, and we can either close the app and do the install, or we can defer it. So this is where it's a great, fantastic feature for the end user. So if it's not convenient now, obviously I can defer, and if it is convenient, I can close the app and continue with the install. So yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to defer this, and then we can have a look at the Intune side, see how that's treated it. But quickly before I do that, let's just quickly check Intune a second. As you can see on the Intune side, so we're pending. So that's okay, it's fine. It's just the install's pending, obviously, because it's waiting for us to give us a decision. So let's do that now. Let's get that done. Okay, let's defer that because it's not convenient at the moment. I'm still doing my work in Notepad++. And we'll switch back and let's see what Intune has done with that. We have a failure message here. So it's basically treated as a fail, basically, because we deferred it, but it's treated as a fail. But let's check Intune anyway. Let's do a refresh. Yeah, okay. It's going to take a little. It's going to take a little while for this to come back with the right status. So I'll fast forward. And as we can see here, it's now done it. So it's reported back to Intune that it's failed, and the reason or the status is the user cancelled the app installation with the error code. So that's what Intune's come back with. The other thing I wanted to show you is what the logs look like for the PSADT logs. So let's have a look at that. So program data, Microsoft Intune management extension, logs, and we can see, let's look for the other areas. There's Notepad++ logs. Let's take a look at that in CM Trace. A couple of things, yeah, so as we can see here, check for running processes, that's the one we put into, remember we put that into Robopack, which obviously then packages the application PSADT and does all that for us. It then, as you can see there, prompting the user to close the application. Deployment was deferred by the user, and eventually what happens is it gives us this here, and it returns this exit code of 1602. So before we move on to look at our second defer, I just want to talk about when the user selects defer. As we know, PSADT exits with the code 1602, and you saw that within the logs. So Intune displays this as a failed installation. Again, we saw that because the application hasn't actually installed. We know that. However, this doesn't mean that the package or installation script has failed. So exit code 1602 specifically means that the installation was cancelled or deferred by the user, and we saw that within the logs, and you saw me demo that. Now, because we're treating 1602 as a failed result rather than an immediate retry, Intune would generally reevaluate the application and try approximately 24 hours later. So the timing isn't exact, the device must be online and checking in with Intune, or all those sorts of usual rules apply. We've configured PSADT, as you know, to allow 3 deferrals. We saw that we did that via Robopack, obviously. Now the user can therefore postpone the installation 3 times, normally receiving another prompt around 24 hours, as we've said, after each deferral. On the 4th prompt, though, the defer option is no longer available, and the user must continue with the installation. So we're forcing them at that point, because 3 is a pretty good number. Obviously, you can change that, but 3 seems to be the general rule that I've been using, and no issues really there. Just a bit of important information. So it's important to note that to configure the exit code at 1602 as a retry in Intune, be a bit careful with that, because if you did that, the retry code causes Intune to try again after approximately 5 minutes, which which basically will result in the user being prompted repeatedly and quickly using up all 3 deferrals. Each one being 5 minutes. So that's probably not a good thing to do. So just a word of warning there. Okay, we'll head over to the virtual machine and let's look at our second deferral. Okay, so now you can see we have our second deferral for the Notepad++. So I'm going to defer this again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some registry settings so we can speed this up. So I'll just do that now. So we're going to switch to Intune and just get the app ID. So what we simply do is we find the app in question, which is in this case Notepad++, and that's the key we're looking for there. So that key there, we're going to go to the registry, remove the entries from that key, which then will force the timings and the GRS to, rather than us waiting 24 hours, we can speed this process up. So now we've got that, I know what that is. We're going to head over to the VM now. So in the VM, we're going to basically go into regedit, go to computer, HK local, well, basically HK local machine, software, Microsoft Intune management extension, Win32 apps. Then the SID, so this will be the SID identifier. In this case, this is my one here. And then underneath that, we're looking for that entry there, which is for Notepad++ and that particular version. So I'm going to remove that. And as well, we'll get it out of the GRS as well, which is that one there. You can see up there. Then we need to restart the Microsoft Intune management extension service. So we'll do that now. Okay. Okay, that's the service there. Let's stop that. Oh, I could have restarted it. Start that again. Okay. That should then force the app to reinstall. There we go. That's done that now. As you can see now, that's in gone red. So it's telling us we've got one more deferral left before it's going to force us. So I'm going to defer again and run for that same procedure again. And here we go. So I've just deleted the registry entry again, restarted the service, did a sync, and here we go. And here it is. So obviously now, as you can see, we've got no option to defer. We have no choice. So let's do that. The user is now forced to close the app and do the upgrade. Let's do it now. Okay, let's check out Notepad++. And there we go, 897, correct version. So if we go into the company portal, there you go. You'll see that Notepad++ has now been installed. That's correct, 897 is the correct version. What we'll do now is we'll head over to Intune and have a look there. Okay, so Notepad++, successful install. There we go. That's my device, 897 installed. And that's it. We've seen how Robopack and PSADT can safely update an application while giving the user the opportunity to save their work and defer the installation up to 3 times. Once those deferrals have been used, Notepad++ must close and update will continue. You saw that. Hopefully you found the demo useful. If you did, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.